Hey everyone. Thanks, Shannon, for asking me to participate in this conversation and to share a little bit about the myths that I have encountered in my own use of social media and that are related to social media, social and digital media. I think the first myth, and a couple of them that I want to mention, I think are somewhat related. Um, One of the myths that I've encountered is that it takes too much time. Um, and related to that, I think that other things I've encountered are people saying that, um, it's about people's lunch, or it's about kittens, or it's about their children. The implication being that it's kind of superficial and distracting from reality. Um, and I think, related to that is the sort of sense that there is no need, really, no real need to participate in social media. So there's a perception that there's no real need to participate in it for some reason, and the time issue and the superficial issue or sort of um, consensus has to do with um, not really perceiving it having any value, and so it gets minimized or marginalized in some way as being a time suck, a time waster, and um, distracting from reality, and even to the point of being addictive in some way, and addictive in a non constructive or non, like in some kind of a negative way. Um, and, I think that in some ways it's true. Um, there are there's just a ton of information out there, and it's 24/7, and it's never ending, and it could sometimes have the feeling of being like this fire hose being turned on to you, and never ending, and to that I would respond that um, the individual is in control of that fire hose, of the spigot, and you can engage and um, absorb and participate and be part of as much or as little of it as you want to. And the issue of time, I think it's an issue of control and of priority. And so if you value something, and if you feel engaged by it and the need for it, and that it is of value, it will raise in its priority for you, and the time will be found. But I think the myth is that it does take too much time, and like I said, I think that you're in control of how much time that's going to take in your life, and the key is to plug into the signal that you're interested in, tune out the noise. So if you're not interested in kittens or people had for lunch, don't tune into that stuff. You have control over who you follow and how much and when you engage. And so, my response to it taking too much time is that you exercise some of that control, and that you have the ability to have that control. Um, the notion that there's no need for it, I think, is also another myth. I think that in this moment, it is not the moment to stick one's head in the sand and to, decide that this isn't relevant, this isn't something that is an opportunity or even a necessity. And so I believe that as educators, it is our responsibility and in fact our obligation to help to educate those that we have the opportunity to come into contact with, whether that is students or others that we may be in charge of training or professionally developing in some way, and to helping them understand the value of engaging in the read-write web and in this moment in time that for me feels like an extraordinary moment in time where things are changing and where the social and the digital media that is out there is really having an impact in every facet of our lives, and that does not exclude education. And we are responsible for helping people to understand how to use it safely and for academic and professional purposes. And if we are not in it, how can we teach anyone, our children, or the staff that we happen to work with, or faculty or students? I really see it as an obligation in this moment in time, and you can't teach something that you don't know. And so I think you have to be in it to understand it and use it, and to be able to speak from experience so that you can help others use it effectively and efficiently. The other myth that I wanted to mention had to do with this notion of digital immigrants and natives. And I think that's one of the most insidious myths that are out there, that somehow or another, if you happen to be born today in this day and age, that somehow you're hardwired to automatically know and understand technology, and somehow or another, those of us who were not born in this moment, born prior to the web and to all of the technological advances that we've had in the last very short, couple of years, a few years, that somehow we're differently wired or disadvantagedly wired, and it's an insidious sort of construct of belief that I believe is not true. I don't think it's true. I think that it is true that if you happen to be born today, that there is technology that didn't exist 10 years ago, and that growing up with that technology makes it not seem novel, or you have longer time that you're exposed to it from the very beginning, and that there is some advantage to that, but it doesn't automatically mean that you intuitively know how to use it safely, how to use it effectively, how to use it academically or professionally. And it sets up this sort of false, relationship, I think, this false tension between faculty and student, that somehow or another they, meaning the students, know more than you, and that you have nothing that you can offer except to expose your own lack of ability, or lack of understanding, or lack of knowledge. And I think that that's a very damaging thing to buy into. Like I said, and it seems now as I'm talking about it, that all of these myths I'm talking about are kind of related. It really is much more as educators, we are much more in a position of um, knowing and being able to help others understand the media, understand how to use it, how to be effective, how to be efficient, and how to discern and be um, have a critical eye about what is out there, and then also to be a model for students so that we can demonstrate to them how to use it for academically, how to use it professionally, how to use it responsibly, how to use it to establish your digital identity, how to take control of that, how to be responsible in terms of your voice and your footprints out there, and how to build your digital identity and your voice. And I think that that is an obligation for us as educators, and to model it and to understand it and to teach it and to incorporate it into our own work and our own lives so that we speak from um, an understanding of actually being users, being consumers, being creators of content, and adding our voice to the discourse in whatever our disciplines happen to be, or in whatever areas we happen to have passion in. So those are a couple of my myths. And I wish I was there to continue this conversation, and hopefully we can either continue the conversation in Skype or a Hangout or in Twitter. All right, see you later. Bye. Thanks.